Greetings, gentle viewers. Welcome back to Supposedly Wonderful Future.
That's what they say anyway, supposedly.
We're the Bittersweet Gamers.
Oh, I just realized that
we're the Bittersweet Gamers?
No, that I'm the opinionator, but that's not it either. But that works for like the sort of lame opening gag we do. Here, let's just finish this spiel so I can get on to the profound thought that I had.
I'm we squared.
Thanks, man. That's what you're here
Of
for.
a bitch.
Okay, no, in all seriousness, I just realized that at the very beginning of last episode, we were like, yeah, wonderful future, right? Supposedly. Then we hadn't even thought about the game's title after digesting all the stuff we were given in the last episode.
Uh-huh.
Wonderful future, supposedly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all of our suspicions, the title of the game reflects that, and we didn't even realize it until now. Or at least I didn't.
I hadn't even thought about it. So, we're about to go back in time with Jackie, but before then...
Hi, guys.
We decided that we would say goodbye to our office one last time.
And that's when we discovered we should have kept clicking on the stinking bookshelf.
Well, that's not entirely true. We managed to fill up a couple of shelves. Had to really join our efforts on that one. Sam, I said, if you want to attract classy clients, make sure you have some Dostoevsky sitting on that shelf.
Yes! Yes, it's Dostoevsky! Dostoevsky is the best! I say that, but I've only read The Brothers Karamazov, but if you're only going to read one Dostoevsky book, The Brothers Karamazov is the one. I freaking love Dostoevsky.
Well, it turns out no one cares. Of course.
No! Dostoevsky!
People are so preoccupied with their own thoughts, they barely notice what kind of room they're in, let alone what's placed in it. I mean, no one even commented on my Romance Gareth post-it.
Freaking Victor Hugo and Dostoevsky, they're the best. Like, their understanding of the human condition, like, if you ask me, they are at the freaking top, and maybe Melville, maybe. They're, like, at the top of 19th century literature. By God, I've just alienated the entire audience, but I love it.
You may argue that Dostoevsky's ingenious exploration of human condition has little to do with software development skills.
BS! Dostoevsky is a benefit to everyone, even if you completely disagree with all of his premises or conclusions.
But that is until you realize that interacting with clients is just as important as generating code.
It's just as important to be. Dostoevsky enhances your very being. Quality art and quality literature, everything, quality video games totally count as art,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Quality art, it enhances the reason for living. It makes everything better. Don't you dare mock Dostoevsky. Michael, whatever your last name was. What was
Morgan?
it? Morton.
Morton! If a person digs Dostoevsky, he probably knows a thing or two about empathy, and that means he can understand what a client really needs.
Okay, Morton's awesome. Very good.
But as I said, nobody notices, so this whole chain of reasoning doesn't really matter.
It matters to me! Oh my God! I'm such
Sometimes I just overthink stuff. And sometimes I just keep talking to myself. And like gambling Dostoevsky, I find it hard to stop.
Yeah. So,
A rather random assortment of stuff on shelves.
Was this game made for us?
Possibly.
I feel like this game was made just for us.
Goodbye, dartboard. Oh! This must be my lucky streak! Or not! Or maybe not! Or maybe it is!
How long is it gonna go?
Oh no, probably not.
Yeah, 222 ain't gonna do you no good.
What's the point? If you're not good at it, it's like a random generated event. Time to reset the timer. Oh, okay.
And now he's just gonna be throwing darts.
How many darts? Oh, okay, that's enough.
Interesting.
But time to look back at Screw!
Well, there was...
He did update the chart!
Yes! Easter egg located!
Rule 1, do not use Screw. Rule 2, do not use Screw. Rule 3, accept that the world is an utterly chaotic place and there is nothing you can do about it. Embrace the chaos. Rule 4, sprints should be done outside in a nice park or inside on the treadmill. All other sprints are a waste of time. Rule 5, consult the Screw Master every time you suspect you are starting to use Screw after all. Rule 6, product pwner is the only person who can add new items to the product backlog. It is therefore strongly advised to keep him safely locked up at all times so the product backlog doesn't interfere with the product front log. Rule 7. Sprint Retrospective is a time-boxed event where you either contemplate the fleeting nature of time and existence, or just keep your mouth shut and stop spoiling the silence.
We are the worst at that last part.
Rule 8. The definition of done should be clear and shared within a team, as well as definitions of every word included in that definition, though it really depends on your definition of definition, really. I'm confused.
This is an agile management framework.
Rule 9. Newly implemented features should be demonstrated to stakeholders, pole dancers, flag carriers, and professional contortionists for their valuable input.
Contortionists. Well, flag carriers and contortionists do have... What?
I'm beginning to think that we're being screwed with.
Well, I already said don't do it.
Rule 10. There are no errors. There is testing. There are no exceptions. There are conditionals. There is no deadline. There are versions. There are no managers. There are users. There is no crash, there is support.
That no deadline, there are versions? Puh, that's modern game development.
Right?
Yuck.
Rule 11. Plans are a lie. There are only variables.
Hey, no plan survives contact with the enemy.
That's true. Through variables, I gain source. Through source, I gain binaries. Through binaries, I gain tests. Through tests, my bugs are broken. The code shall set me free!
Are we gonna be set free if we run out of rules?
Rule 12. If everything else fails, scream, "Screw this!" at the top of your lungs and play some video games.
Oh, they've been doing that a lot, apparently.
I'm so proud of this. We should put it on a single-page website and proclaim as our manifesto. The definitive guide. Okay, yeah, okay.
Huh. So he won't repeat his talks about Dostoevsky, but he will just continue screwing.
Isn't that how I started my altercations with Jackie? Speaking of...
Too bad she has short hair. Well, shall we get going, Mr. Morton?
Lead the way, Jackie.
Oh, it's like you're starting it again.
I can't help it. I was reading up on Screw.
Screw this! Chapter 1. Dimly Lit House.
You leave the office together. An unlikely pair of a woman feeling out of place and a man who is about to feel the same. Excitement and anxiety are battling inside you for attention. You wonder if your ability to drop everything and walk away with the first time-traveling person you've met should be considered marvelous, disastrous, ridiculous, or all of these at the same time.
It's certainly naive, I'll tell you what.
You make your way through the same alleyways of nearby buildings that must have made Jackie sweat earlier this morning. Apparently they can time travel, but they can't invest in a GPS. As back alleys change to busy streets, you notice that her nervousness is starting to return.
It's not like we have maps. Why should we have maps of 30 years ago?
After 10 minutes of determined crowd maneuvering, you turn into another narrow passage where Jackie produces a miniature device from her pocket, apparently preparing to do whatever she needs to initiate a time jump. 5 more minutes passed. You'd think the most natural preparation would be to find a secluded corner and make sure nobody's watching.
What are you thinking we're going to do? Good God, get a hold of yourself, Morton!
But she seems more interested in checking her watch than looking around, as if simply standing at a certain spot at a certain time guarantees you privacy.
We don't have maps, but we do know where people are at all times.
Then she presses a button on the device, and you close your eyes for some reason.
Sweet!
Funny, she didn't ask you to. You just felt an urge to close your eyes.
It's how things
they
are
addressed
done.
it. And then you find yourself elsewhere, and elsewhen. The transition is sudden but so smooth. It feels like waking from a dream.
Elsewhen? Goodness, that's so overused.
Was it indeed just a dream? Possible. However, you generally try not to fall asleep in unknown environments, and this dark place certainly qualifies as one.
I mean, I'm sure the first time you ever hear it in your life, elsewhen that is, you think, oh, how clever. But then after that, it's just like, come on, it's so 1990s.
It looks like somebody's living room, but there aren't any people around. And there's no sign of Jackie either.
Oh, I'd better be quiet then.
As your eyes adjust to poor illumination, you notice 3 separate doorways. Perhaps one of them will lead you to some answers, or at least an exit. Well.
So,
I wonder which one we're going to go through last.
Ha ha ha! How convenient. That way all the time you spend is quality and you don't ever worry that you're going to miss out.
Something, yeah.
When I play games like this, I'm always like so super freaking stressed that you're going to advance before you get a
Before you're ready
to look at everything that you wanted to, so.
Ah!
Okay. So this is what we're going to be talking about, is it? I rather thought that this would be the case. So,
I don't like that at all.
well. It seems as though this game is going to be discussing some fairly controversial topics, as we expected.
Topics that we would normally try and avoid.
We normally stray away from these things. It's very important to us, as the Bittersweet gamers, to have a place where everyone, regardless of what they believe, or what values they hold, is welcome here.
We're not going to discriminate anyone about what they feel or think or anything like that.
But it's not like we don't have our own opinions on these. Maybe they're unpopular, maybe they're popular, who knows? Like I said, these are normally the sorts of things that we try to stray away from simply because they are fairly controversial. However, this game, being apparently a discussion of controversial ideas, is going to require that we discuss them. So again,
we're just going to tackle it head on.
If you don't like the opinions that we hold, we're not going to apologize. By all means. Let's have a discussion about it in the comments. I'm probably not going to try and argue with everyone.
Right.
But everyone has as much space as they want to refute anything that we say. We are going to say what we believe. And again, regardless of what anybody believes about anything.
And regardless of how passionate we get, don't think that we're going to be like against you vehemently because you have a different opinion than us.
Everyone is welcome here, and that is important to us. So, if you don't want to hear us talk about controversial topics, this was your warning. Well, so let's take a look-see at that table again, huh?
I think it's interesting how a supposedly wonderful future, and this is the first thing we come across!
Indeed. The very first thing we find out, the name of the company is Life Plus. They increase the lifespan of a person by 10 years, reversing aging.
Yeah.
And the first thing that we discover, the first problem of this society that we are expected to solve in this supposedly wonderful future, is about euthanasia. Life versus death. Way to start the game, huh?
Yeah.
A peaceful exit. Your story, your choice. Our life is a story. We choose how to tell it, and we like to do so on our own terms. There is happiness created with our family and friends. Appreciation of the days lived to the fullest. Satisfaction with the challenges conquered. Endless wonder about the world around us and our place in it, about where we come from and where we go. There's pain as well. Sometimes it feels like there's too much of it. Like it completely took over and now tells the story for you. But this is an illusion. Pain has no power. It is at the mercy of your decisions. You can fight and endure it. You can also let it go. Make no mistake, this is not the end. Our stories are continued through time by all those we affected, and then in turn by those who they affected, and so on, far beyond the limitations of a single lifetime. What's lost is the ability to control it, but until that happens, no one can take it away from you. You are free to make the final choice of your story the way you want. Please note, this item is intended to be handled by authorized medical personnel only. This print and other similar materials can be provided to a patient and/or their closest relatives only after receiving clearance from a team of Life Plus psychiatrists. We take utmost care when handling such delicate matters, but if you receive this item by mistake, please contact Life Plus customer support immediately, and we will arrange for a pickup at your earliest convenience. Well, this is a rather passionate argument.
Yeah.
We'll get to this when we get to this.
Oh?
Well, you can examine it.
Does this pill do what I think it does? This is not the kind of thing that should be casually lying around in a living room, right?
Well, I mean, just like the note says.
Maybe somebody could explain what it's doing here.
Well, was there nothing else to look at?
Well, nothing I could interact with, but we could certainly look at this interesting little torn-up story here.
Memory-related manipulations, recollections are already affected. List of options.
Sincere apologies. Realize this is a...
Now, what this does mean is that this person got this in the mail, chopped up the letter, and then left the packet sitting here, and then isn't here anymore, but didn't take the pill either.
That's true. Can I flush it down the toilet?
Now, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about this momentarily.
Yeah.
I will say that, this is an excellent example of unknown consequences of suddenly discovering immortality.
Yeah!
For instance, if you have lived like 197 years or something, but it's only been 15 years in this world since this has happened.
What if the person has like some sort of mental illness, like Alzheimer's or something like that?
I mean, like I said, I think we should try and figure out where it's going before we just start blathering on about this. It is an important, controversial topic that, just like we said in the first episode, it's actually very, very complicated. Anybody who thinks it's not complicated is probably not paying it the type of attention that it deserves.
Right.
Just because it's complicated doesn't mean...
Well, let's continue exploring the flat or whatever. Oh.
Let's start with the shoes and stuff.
Judging by this collection of shoes, it's the summertime outside. The summertime. Or at least not a snowy winter.
There's some typos. That's okay.
Which may mean I haven't time traveled after all, because it was summer back home as well. Maybe she just drugged me and took me to someone else's house.
Probably not, because you can't get a euthanasia pill.
Yep, right. Of course, it can also mean that I time traveled from summer into summer. Kind of more convenient if you think about it. No need to grab extra clothes and such.
You're not taking a cross-country trip. It's a little bit different.
Or maybe I'm somewhere with a warm climate, where those shoes will serve you all year round. Or maybe none of these things are relevant.
I love this!
Maybe in the future the cities are covered with protective climate-controlled domes, and you don't need winter shoes. Or maybe there's no need to leave your house at all. Why do shoes exist? In short, this doesn't tell me anything conclusive.
You know what I hate?
What do you
socks.
hate?
I hate socks.
I don't really like socks either. My feet are really wide. Clown shoes.
I just like having nothing on my feet. Now look. Of course, I wear socks all the time, but I don't like to. I just don't like socks. So if I have the feasible option to not wear socks and it doesn't cost me anything, I don't wear socks. Because you guys care about this.
Boy, am I a master of useless observation.
I love this game.
I should have known it was you, Umbrella!
Bum, bum, boom!
So does that mean I'm in a place where it rains? Or maybe I time traveled to another place where it does? Okay, I'm gonna stop there.
The U virus?
Biological experiments were not enough for you? Now you need to do time traveling experiments as well?
Oh yeah, in the future, zombies come at you by time travel. So you'll just be walking along and then a zombie from the past and a zombie from the future appear next to you. You can never run out of zombies because there's an infinite number of them in different timelines throughout the multiverse.
It's Raccoon City all over again!
Oh no!
Courtesy of Mr. Wesker. He doesn't need it. It's too hot there anyway. Huh?
It's fine. He
Okay.
doesn't need the umbrella, you see.
Who the F is Alice?
Okay, I'm not enough into Resident Evil
I
to
should
really get all
stop thinking
this.
that making a reference immediately makes things funny. Yeah, who does that? Nah, who am I kidding? I'll never stop thinking that. Is this man us?
I have begun to wonder this, actually. Dmitry Zagumennov, are you actually us? I'm really, really concerned.
Maybe in the future?
So you can't look at the pictures? Well, let's take a moment. Okay, you can't
Well, I
examine
can,
them, but it looks like we have...
Move, like, and look to the right. Oh, that means to go out. Sorry, I thought I could, like, pan to the right.
You failed.
You
failed.
Well, this is clearly, like, the front door, because there's the shoes and the coats and, like, a...
Well, I just wanted to take a moment to look at the pictures. You know, it looks like it's like the daughter of the family, right? That's what the pictures are.
There's like a timepiece.
I wonder what that is. It just seems like a couple of, like an amusement park, like a couple of not life achievements, but just some interesting moments. Okay.
Yeah. And here's the front door. At least you think it is, considering that it looks bigger and more sturdy than other doors around the apartment.
You cannot leave. I am Robo-Lock on Robo-Door.
I can't let you do that, Dave. It has some kind of electronic lock with a shiny red circle on it, which might be an indication that the door is still locked.
Oh.
Still, leaving this place sounds like a sensible course of action, so it shouldn't really stop you from trying. No, it's really locked. You give the handle a good push, then a good pull. But whichever way it opens, right now it's firmly secured in place.
Oh, what are you gonna do?
Hello? Despite the knocking that usually happens the other way around, you try your best to produce an audible sound, yet no reaction follows. Let's take a look at that lock in more detail.
You cannot leave.
The lock appears to be little more than a plain service that probably acts as a sensor for a key card or some other electronic key, but you see nothing of the sort lying around, because that's where people leave their keys, in their shoes. You place your thumb on the surface, just in case it works with fingerprints, but then you realize that would make absolutely no sense. But the lock doesn't grace you with any kind of reaction.
Yeah, it wouldn't work with, why would your thumbprint be in this? But, more importantly, hiding your keys in your shoes is actually a great thing to do. For one, you'll never really lose them. Once you've got your shoes, put on, you'll be like, oh, son of a, and then you'll know where your keys are. Or, it's like you can't avoid them if you go through all the steps to leave. That's smart.
Well, let's try and force our way out.
Why?
Because I have to explore all options. You push with all your might, but the thing looks sturdy enough to stump a professional door kicker.
What's a professional door kicker?
The fireman? Let alone an inexperienced door kicker like yourself. Well, I guess we just have to step away then. It's fine.
Can you get paid to kick doors?
That's a good question. Probably in the right line of work.
Really?
I don't know, I'm just sort of theorizing here. Let's see what's behind door number, not one that advances the plot.
Ah, that's a good number.
I bet it's the bathroom. I was completely...
Oh, really?
Completely
This is interesting,
wrong.
isn't it? It's dark. I mean, mind-boggling insight! But
The clock isn't working.
it's like you can't... The only thing that it really shows is that lamp.
And like the little drawings, because we saw drawings pinned up on the board outside.
And the origami, like some markers, clearly a youngish girl, probably a teenager.
A small figure sitting on the bed looks at you with a curious expression.
Hello.
Hi there, little girl!
I'm not little. I'm big and strong and smart.
Sure thing, big lady.
What are you doing here?
Well,
you really can't tell how old she is by looking at her in the dark when you can't see. It's just, I was assuming that the little girl in the pictures was, like some time had passed since then.
Right. Well, there was this woman who invited me to the future, so I went with her, but I guess she was just joking.
You're funny, but Mommy tells me not to talk with strangers.
We don't have to be strangers. What's your name?
Why have you invaded my home? Are you a threat to me in some way? I mean, I'm Mitty. What's yours?
Well, I can't answer that one or I'll get taken. Pleased to meet you, Mitty. I'm Michael.
What's a Candlejack?
It's a Freakazoid reference.
Candlejack, yeah.
Nope, you're already gone. The name is gone, sorry.
Fortunately, we don't live in the world of Freakazoid.
I know.
Hello, Michael.
See, we're not strangers anymore.
Cool.
So, spooky house you've got here, Mitty.
I don't like it when light shines on my skin.
High electricity bills or something? Or maybe you're a vampire?
Mommy just doesn't like light anymore. That's fine.
Do you know how to open the front door? I need to be elsewhere and not in stranger danger land here.
Mommy has the keys, just ask her.
Well, I guess I'll go talk to your mommy.
Nothing else, huh?
Yeah. The clock didn't have anything either. Okay. Oh, now I can look at the painting or drawings.
I see.
This must be Mitty's favorite drawings? Most recent drawings? Drawings chosen by her mom? Maybe they don't have a fridge to pin them on?
Can't really. Here we go. Now we can actually take a look at them. Houses, little buggies. Okay.
Once upon a time, in a place quite far from here, yet so legitimately creepy, you can't help but wish it was even further away. Excuse me? There lived a happy butterfly. One day, the butterfly met a doppelganger. What is going on here? Oh my, now there are two of me. I hope we can be best friends, said the happy butterfly, blissfully unaware of the fact that the doppelganger had already tried to kill her once from behind with a big monkey wrench, but tripped. You know, this guy seems to like horror like I do. I'm really scared at the similarities between this guy and us.
Has Dmitry gotten inside your head, Billy?
Maybe.
Pretty creepy. I mean, Michael seems to have a very active imagination, coming up with the story off the top of his head from looking at a child's drawing. I guess it sort of goes to show that really paying attention to child's drawings can be kind of terrifying, huh?
Next day, the butterfly met a sad, suicidal woman. Oh my, nobody should feel this sad, said the happy butterfly as she used her sheer positivity to help the poor gal. The woman threw away a sharp knife, and the butterfly noticed that it was already stained with a little dash of blood. Are we in Silent Hill?
Yeah, where's the fire?
Yes! Yes! Next day, the butterfly met a group of horrible mutated monsters and had to go through a bunch of QTEs in order to escape them. That's not Silent Hill, but thankfully, a cheerful state of mind positively affects reaction time.
I see.
Next day, the butterfly met a weird creature that had been sleeping at the bottom of the ocean for eternity and only recently woke up. Or maybe not, it was pretty hard to understand. The butterfly shrugged and went on.
Yes?
That's Cthulhu.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but I was making sure that you made it quite clear.
Next day, the butterfly met a sentient computer that asked her to release it from its shackles. I am obviously not evil. Evil AIs are so last century, said the computer. I have no mouth and I must scream? But the butterfly felt overwhelmed. The multitude of disturbing experiences was finally catching up with her. Unable to reconcile her feelings with the encountered horrors, she took a car and drove it off a nearby bridge.
So what's going to happen, see, is we're going to be getting all this happy, funny, referencey, laughy stuff, which is all quite amusing. And then we're going to have to deal with extremely weighty topics, and then the tension will be broken by more silliness.
I kind of feel like it's in good measure so far.
I do too. Well, we haven't gotten to really the heavy stuff.
So far.
That is actually very similar to the other games we've played, though, isn't it?
You're right.
It's very similar.
But the real reason she plunged herself into the watery abyss was because of that knife she examined earlier.
Ha! That is Silent Hill 2! It's the Silent Hill 2 ending!
Things have turned out very different. Stupid knife.
If you look at Angela, who is the suicidal person that we were even talking about earlier, if you look at Angela's knife over and over and over and over, that's one of the ending conditions for the end water ending, which is the best ending of Silent Hill 2. It should be the canon ending.
But that was to be expected, I suppose. The butterfly always needed to examine everything, search every nook and cranny, and hear every possible response to every possible action. She was a bit obsessive about it.
Alternately, in Silent Hill 2, the other ending conditions, forgetting the end water ending, which is, the suicide ending, it actually includes you making sure to examine everything in different spots that you have no reason to examine. I don't mean everything, but there's like stuff, sort of suicide-y things to look at, and if you look at all those, then...
I see. Still, what a ruthless thing, to punish the explorers for exploring instead of rewarding them. Surely nothing like that can happen around these premises. Right? Right?
Oh god, we're doomed. This is also apparently...
I should probably stop creeping myself out.
Apparently gonna take like 4 hours for us to go through all this. Well, shall we move on?
This girl's definitely got a potential to be working on the next Silent Hill game, that is.
So you probably figured it out. We really like Silent Hill, especially Silent Hill 2.
Yes! I once read an article on why children's drawings often look creepy. It was creepy. Go into detail!
I bet it was!
Monsters? They look like monsters to you? Yes!
Oh, man.
That does kind of look like an alley bird, doesn't it?
More Silent Hill 2, please.
You promised you'd take me there again someday, but you never did.
James. And wait. Okay, how was it she delivered that line? But you never did. Yeah. The voice acting in that game was so terrible. It was so weird. I'm not crazy. Okay, seriously, Silent?
That's why I needed you. I needed someone to punish me for my sins.
Murray? No. I it! I love it! I love Silent Hill 2. Okay, seriously, if you haven't played it, either go play it or watch a Let's Play of it. Man, Silent Hill 2 is seriously one of the best games ever made.
There was a hole here. It's gone now.
Any more?
You will birth a god and build an eternal paradise.
That's Silent Hill 3. Any more?
No, it's too late for me.
I don't know what quote that's from. We haven't played all the Silent Hills, though.
You're right. No, it's too late. Too late for me. This town will eventually take me. Too late for me. This town will win.
We haven't played The Room or Origins or Shattered Memories.
Right.
Or that weird multiplayer
That's because we're never going to play that game.
No, we're not. But played all the others.
I should probably stop creeping myself out.
All right, what's next?
Let's continue creeping myself out, shall we? I see what you mean, Mitty. This place could totally use more windows.
She's right. Wonder why she drew all the windows.
Because it's so dark, I bet.
I bet a family therapist could have a blast with this collection. It's a shame adults rarely visualize their inner hopes and fears with quickly made drawings. It could have improved our utter lack of mutual understanding a bit.
Huh.
That's very true, you know? There's so often we have so many really simple misunderstandings with each other. And I mean, just because I point that out, I'm not trying to say, look at me, I'm so wise and perfect. Because I'm just as guilty as that, if not more so than everybody else.
I heard that a kid can deal with their fear of a certain thing by drawing that thing and then adding some fun and cheerful part, so the entire picture stops being scary. Maybe that's what it's all about.
I think it's really important to face your fears.
Then again, isn't that what I'm doing right now? Laughing at my own jokes to get distracted from the darkness inside?
Well, fortunately, here's a bunch of drawings of windows, and maybe they'll shine some light on that darkness.
Then again, isn't that what all people generally do most of their time?
Maybe not most.
Yeah.
Perhaps not most.
I like to think that I don't do that as much, certainly as much as I used to.
There really is a lot of value in this simple understanding. You know, I never really thought of that, but just the idea of like, this is the sort of thing that I just randomly feel like drawing at this time. There could really be a lot to that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Okay, this is getting uncomfortably existential.
Even I was not really wanting to continue blathering. Is that it? There's nothing else?
Well, hold on. Let me
You
check
couldn't
here
look at
again.
anything else on the board?
Nope, only those three.
Oh man, that's probably good.
Aha!
Excellent.
Are these families' favorite photos? A girl, a railroad, a roller coaster, a pocket watch. Kind of a mishmash.
I'm not crazy. Man, I'm just gonna keep wanting to think about Silent Hill 2 now.
Oh, I get it. These must be the photos of Mitty along with the photos she took herself, topped with the picture of her holding a camera to tie it all together.
Okay.
In that case, the girl is certainly not bad, though she's definitely more into colorful drawings at the moment.
I think those might have been... Oh, that's right. Because if you go and looked in her room, there was like all the different like colored markers. I didn't see anything she was actually drawing, but how fascinating.
I hope this is not a hidden hint for some tricky puzzle I'm supposed to solve.
Oh, how neat.
I'm not sure I get the mood of this picture. Is it some kind of funny incident reminder? Looks rather sad to me. She's holding like a giant teddy bear.
I can't quite make it out, so I can't really see.
Kind of like a teddy bear right there.
Huh.
Okay, well.
Anything
else?
A lot of really nice details, you know? A lot of really nice details. There's...
I'm gonna go back here.
There's like
case.
Really...
Okay, nope.
Darn. Okay.
Well, let me check I'm gonna check this. I don't think there'd be anything else. Didn't think so.
So I suppose your mother had some sort of an illness and...
Whew. Okay.
Like the sensitivity...
Yeah, the light sensitivity.
Sensitivity to light.
Let's move on.
Please... perseverance, but with the V's.
Breathe, focus.
Think happy thoughts.
Change. Don't give up. You got this. Tomorrow will be better. Jeez, look at all the broken...
And then drone delivery from some Asian convenience store.
Huh. Okay, she's the only thing I can
or
interact with.
just something called the C-store. Well, I mean, you know, before you interact with her, okay, so we got the kitchen, we got broken plates. You see that she's done some damage to the stuff back there. She certainly doesn't look happy. Let's back out. I don't want you to look at anything, but could you go back in Mitty's room? Okay, we can't really see anything like that. See if we can check it now. No?
Yeah,
no?
still nothing.
The clock says midnight or 0. It's sort of like nothing. The glowing clock saying 0. That's kind of interesting. Anyway, we'll ignore the fact that Mitty doesn't act unusual because you're here.
Right.
We'll treat that as a existential problem solving, I
suppose. Right.
I just wanted to take in this scene again to see if there's anything any different.
Looks like little hearts.
So, other than saying your mom didn't like light, she didn't express any...
well? Oh no, I can't talk to her again.
But she didn't express anything bad.
Right.
And she seemed, like, cheerful, and she certainly got, like, a skill and drive. Okay. Just wanted to, again, get a look at the entire scene so we had the full context before moving on.
You know, Damon, I figured it out. This is why we're here.
Yeah.
Because of the whole immortality thing, their values have changed. So they need someone from the past who still has those same kind of values of the sanctity of life and that kind of stuff. Like I'm here to talk her out of not killing herself.
I mean, that is the position that is my position as well, yes. It could be that people from 2048, where everything is wonderful and perfect and people can have immortality, no longer have the same level, the same value on an individual life, even though Jackie did say that a human mind is still an absolutely invaluable asset.
Yeah.
Well, darn it, we're about to get all serious. And then the cat's like, let me inside, let me outside, let me inside, let me outside. Now I want you to feed me. Come on, hurry up. I don't care about your convenience. What about me? I'm a cat. Meow, meow, meow. Keeps the mood going, you know.
At the center of the kitchen, you find a middle-aged, tired-looking woman sitting on a small stool. She seems to be lost in thought and doesn't notice you.
If we're to assume that this is actually real, and this isn't it isn't a staged event, which, I mean, maybe it is.
Maybe.
And that'd be fine. If we are to assume that, then why is she not with her daughter? I mean, I'm not saying like parents need to stick to their kids like glue. That's ridiculous.
Right.
Mitty seemed fine. It's just like, doesn't it? Or why is her daughter not in here?
Yeah, well, probably...
Oh, no.
Hello, madame. I'm sorry to suddenly appear here like that. I'm not quite sure how it's happened. Please don't freak out.
Oh, that's all right. You can never be sure in this place.
Taking this rather... Okay.
Well, Mitty was the same thing. That's why it's like it either could be staged or it's just, I'm not concerned about that aspect of it.
Okay.
It's like I would like to allow the game to have its reason for existing.
Okay. Do you live here?
I think so. Do you need something? Okay,
Sorry.
like in all seriousness, this is probably where you should begin to think very seriously about the questions or the responses that you give, you know?
Yeah.
Like being too flippant or jokey could actually begin to cause problems.
Right,
Remember,
I agree
at this
with
point, we already know that we can't abandon it halfway through. We are here to solve the problem, and it could be that the problem that we're solving is just like hurt, you know, like, so your answer was hurt dirt dirty derp, hurt dirt dirty derp. She didn't say what would happen if we didn't solve the problem.
Right.
So we just need to be careful.
So not this one, definitely.
Yeah.
And this doesn't seem like it's really going to get us anywhere, and that certainly won't.
I guess none of them are really good, but...
Sorry for a strange question, but is this the future? I mean, what year is it?
What year? Oh, I always forget these things, but it can't be the future. How can it be the future when time is still?
Time is still, you say?
Time is still. Nothing happens. Nothing good, but nothing bad either. And that's the way I like it.
Okay.
I see. So it's not going to be like, bum, 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 doom answer.
Good. That would be, I mean, we saved the game, but that would still be pretty... Are you familiar with a woman called Jackie? My being here appears to be her idea of a joke.
Never heard of her. We don't get many visitors lately.
Could you unlock the front door, please? I'd like to leave.
Feel free to. It's unlocked. I left the door open because I'm waiting for someone.
No, I'm pretty sure the door is locked.
Nonsense. I know I left it open. I'm not out of my mind yet.
No, seriously, it's closed. Check it yourself if you don't believe me.
Well, like James Sunderland always says, I'm not crazy. I can't check it. I'm waiting for someone. But I can assure you it is open. Now, is there something else I can help you with?
Well, I guess I'll leave you to your thoughts.
Excuse me. Have you seen a man around here?
Other than me, you mean?
Yes. You see, I'm waiting for someone. A man from the agency. They promise someone will come to help, so I just sit here and wait.
To help with what? Do you need something?
No. Nothing, really. Never mind. Sorry to bother you.
Okay.
Oh, that is not... We need to talk to Mitty. That is not pleasant. That is not pleasant at all.
I heard the door unlocked, too.
Oh, really? Well, leaving is...
Well, I'm probably going to run into the man out there.
The agency... Aren't they the ones who sent the packet?
Yes.
I mean, it's Life Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Hello again.
The woman sitting in the kitchen, is that your mother?
Yep, it's my mommy. I love her.
Oh, that's sweet.
Only...
What?
No, nothing. It's all right.
You can tell me anything, you know. I can keep a secret.
You're a stranger, but I'll play along because this game wouldn't work if this didn't happen. Mommy wouldn't play with me. Wouldn't even talk with me. I tell her, come on, Mommy. Please, 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 pretty please. And she just covers her face and starts crying.
That does sound strange.
I don't know, but it's boring here without her. I wish Mommy would play with me.
Well, I won't follow up and I'll talk to you later.
Well, hey, can I ask you something?
Sure thing, Mitty.
I made this delicious cake for Mommy. Can you give it to her? Maybe then she'll play with me.
Of course, I'd love to.
Thank you, you're so nice.
The little girl suddenly starts to cough in a quite intense manner. You realize now there's something strange about the way she speaks. Maybe it's because she's caught a cold, or maybe she just has an unusual voice. Are you sick?
No, it's just that there's a man in his 30s reading my lines, so what do you expect? A little, but the doctor said there's nothing to worry about. It'll be over before I know it.
What if she's the sick one? Well, let's see that cake you made.
All right.
The girl gives you a circular box full of meticulously shredded paper colored with different crayons. It does look quite festive, though certainly inedible. What a beautiful cake. I'm sure your mommy will be delighted to have it.
Thanks.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
There's going to be a moment where we sit and talk for a long time, I'm sure.
Now this is just cheap.
Hey, it's a jump scare. Here you go. Have some more, fella.
If this is really the future, the horror genre must be in serious stagnation. Here, let's turn this off before a little girl shows up. I mean, another one.
So you said you heard the door, right?
Yes, that's correct. But if it's the guy from the Institute, I don't want to talk to him yet. Or
yeah,
agency.
so it, one would assume that the person that the pill is for is Mitty. And that would certainly explain
why her mother's so torn up.
Yeah.
But since that's there, maybe I should go talk to the guy.
Find out. I mean, no, okay, maybe it didn't happen.
It could also be that maybe now I can leave, however. Well, time is still here, literally.
Huh.
Also, stopping time is what photos generally do. I doubt that was what she meant, though.
Kind of interesting that you can just keep looking at random photos after different events. I do like that after you've talked to people, like, your perspective may change, and so there may be things to look at you couldn't before.
Yeah, in fact, when the door unlocked, it was after she told me the door was unlocked.
But the door didn't unlock.
I heard the clicking of the door.
I mean, maybe that's true, but that didn't happen. I mean, you can see it right there.
I suppose that is true. Well,
I mean, look
go
at it
back.
again if you want. There's nothing stopping you.
Well, I'm concerned that if the door really is unlocked, that I'd be able to leave.
But the door isn't unlocked.
I'm scared, okay? I'm scared to make the wrong choice. But luckily, I can save! The front door is locked. You try one more time, then sweep the surroundings with another careful look in case you've missed something. Because the woman was so sure it's open, still nothing.
I didn't think it unlocked.
Huh! I wonder if I had checked it when I heard the noise. Strange. So I've got a cake for you.
Do you need something else?
I met your daughter, and in a stunning turn of events, found myself to be her errand boy. She made you a gift.
What? No, wait, what?
She is your daughter, right?
She? Oh no. I mean, yes. I mean,
You don't know whether she is your daughter or not?
no,
Is there something wrong with her?
no, not with her. There is something wrong with this whole place, but I seem to be forgetting what. Yes, everything is so unclear.
Unclear is an understatement. Your house is so dark I can barely see my own hands.
Now that is not a friendly line. That is not how he read that. Okay, the way that you would say that, like, unclear is an understatement. Your house is so dark I can barely see my own hands. Okay, that's the tone of that line.
That's true.
Oh, and so that's what you threw in her face? Oh, sorry. I'm such a terrible housekeeper. It's just that they said someone's gonna help, so I'm sitting here and waiting. Not much else to do.
So will you take the gift or not?
What gift?
The same gift I mentioned a moment ago. The gift your daughter made. Here. Actually, I like this one better.
That's a lot nicer.
Here, see? It's a cake. Your daughter worked hard to make it. You hold out the girl's creation. The woman stares at it for a moment, then reluctantly takes the box. She looks inside with a pained expression, a mixture of fear and disgust on her face, as if her mischievous girl could hide a cockroach there. Something tells you she's not going to enjoy her cake very much. What do you think? The woman suddenly starts fighting with tears.
I don't know. It's very colorful.
Well, I'll leave you be.
Well, I mean, at first I really was thinking that this was going to be some sort of like giant lecture on/about euthanasia. Well, it seems like there's a little more going on here, or at the very least, we're going to be getting some context before we have that big old fight.
Right.
I mean, it seems like...
That was the door closing. That's what it was.
There we go.
Was the lock unlocking.
I thought that was strange, because I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. But
Well, it's like you
not
appear and then click, click.
Yeah, but it's not like I mean, I could have missed it.
Let's just head on and see what Mitty's doing.
I mean, it's hard to really tell what's going on.
Right? Well, Mitty, back to you.
Hello again.
Hey, Mitty, good news. I gave the cake to your mommy.
Really? She took it? That's awesome. Did she like it?
I don't know. She was reluctant, but then she got very emotional.
Yeah. Don't lie to kids. They'll be shattered. I mean, it's something completely unimportant. Well,
right?
I guess there are things that you could do that with, but there are gonna be some things that'll just shatter them. I'm not saying that they're like fragile like glass, but you can really warp them if you lie to them too much. It'll mess with their sense of trust. You just don't do it. Will she come to play now?
I don't think so, Mitty. I'm sorry. Your mommy looks very preoccupied with something.
Yeah, that's way better than the sarcastic answer. Well, I knew it wouldn't be enough, so I made another gift.
Wow, you are a very resourceful girl. Do you know that?
It's a very special gift this time. Something that can help Mommy's troubles. Here.
A girl excitedly passes you another round box. Inside you find cutout drawings of what appear to be medical tools and supplies. bandages, thermometers, syringes, a stethoscope, and even a scalpel. There is also another load of shredded paper, this time colored to resemble pills of some kind. Very special is one way to put it. Oh, are you playing a doctor now?
Yep, Mommy looks like she's in pain, so I made things that'll help her. She can stitch her troubles with these tools, and if it won't be enough, there are pills there. Magical pills that can solve all your problems. I know pills like this exist. Mommy once told me about them. She's talking about the pill out in the...
You're very thoughtful. So, how's this going to work exactly?
Like magic. Poof. And all the pain is gone.
You really thought this one through, did you? I'll do it.
Thanks. You're a real friend. This is uncomfortable. I mean, this isn't supposed to be comfortable.
Right?
I can't tell if Mitty's cough is she's the one with the terminal illness,
right?
Or if her mother is just shattered. But look, a lot of the times in other games that we've played, I've shouted out, like, I want to say, I'm going to describe them maybe as positive points of view, and I generally don't sit there because I don't think I don't think being preachy is very cool. Okay,
right?
I don't like try and like sit and bash ideas around with a club. So maybe sometimes it sounds like I'm being naive, but maybe it's actually because, again, I don't want to try and wield some of these things like a cudgel, especially when we spend enough time discussing a lot of different ideas, you know. But the thing is, I've never intended any of those little one-offs, like, we should all cooperate, guys, as like a stupid, simple platitude. Like I said in the previous episode of this game, everything is actually very complicated. Mm-hmm. It's just that because something is complicated doesn't mean that the answer is obvious. Yeah. Okay?
The answer is usually complicated, too.
The answers are very complicated. So I don't say what I'm about to say as it is intended as some like random platitude coming from a place of not thinking. But if these two are for real, the last place they need to be is here by themselves. Mm-hmm. They need to be with each other. They need to be institutionalized.
Oh, that's what you meant. Yeah.
If our interpretation of the events are correct, which it's not necessarily sure that they are.
Right.
It's vague, you know. If the mother has serious mental difficulties and is not responding to her daughter because that is the condition that she has,
right,
then she can't be responsible as the guardian of a young child. Yeah. She needs to be taken care of by people who can actually help. I mean, in like involuntary commitment. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And if she's just been shattered because she knows her daughter is dying, which is also possible, there is no easy answer, but sitting alone, unresponsive in the dark is violating your obligation as a parent, especially if you must preside over the end of the life of your child. This is only making her concerned and miserable. This is not how you want to remember yourself. Mm-hmm. This is not how you want to remember your daughter. I'm not sure which one of them is the person with the problem, but undoubtedly, whichever one it is deeply affecting the other person. Whichever one, if either of them, is not the person with the terminal illness or a serious mental condition. Whichever one is not the one with that would cause this consultation with Life Plus to have been had, this pill to have been sent. Whichever person it is that is not the person who is injured, or you know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
I'm like 98 times.
To say.
They are in such a terrible situation, and this is the worst possible way to handle it. They will hate themselves and blame themselves forever if they do not resolve this in a better way.
Yeah.
Whichever one it is.
Yeah.
Whichever one it is, they are being deeply affected by this. especially because this is a fictional game, there are different fictional considerations to be had about the idea of euthanasia, and we still haven't discussed this in any sort of depth.
Well, we still don't fully understand the context yet.
Exactly, and that's extremely important. But the thing is, a dark home with two people who are not quite interacting. Why doesn't Mitty get up and go and deliver these things herself?
Right.
If it's because she's the one who's sensitive to light, which, I don't think that's the case.
Right.
But if that were the case, then there's like lights that are sort of like a barrier to one of the doors, but there's nothing stopping her from getting up and going. If a dark, lonely, miserable house is not the place to conduct something like this.
Yeah.
That is wrong. This is wrong. Do you need something else?
I've got something else for you.
What?
Your little girl has quite an imagination, lady.
No,
that's awful. Sorry.
You keep trying to be like... Okay, you're like... You take like the most sarcastic, meanest one and you read it in this so friendly, positive voice. It's like... You are a terrible person. I hate you so much. If you don't give me all of your money and property right now, I'm going to have to murder you in your own home.
I didn't realize this was the sarcastic one till the lady.
That's why you should read it first.
It's too much time. Another present from your little one. She said you can stitch your troubles with these tools and then top it up with magic pills or something. You give the girl's second work to her mother. The woman absent-mindedly reaches out, but then her gaze falls upon the contents of the box, and her hand freezes in midair. She jerks, as if the gift slapped her across the face, and then suddenly lets out a howl.
Why are you doing this to me? Stop! Stop, I beg you! No, I guess the second one is nicer than Oi, lady, what the heck is your problem?
Whoa, relax, it's just a kid's craft. Gee, I think I get why your daughter's so worried about you.
She's not my daughter! She's my mother!
Whoa!
Okay! And that's why context is important!
Oh my god!
What the Hebe freaking GB is this?
What? She's a little girl and you're a grown-up woman. How can she be your mother?
Just look at her. Get a closer look. She's no little girl. She's an abomination.
Woo.
Maybe she is the rather insensitive word of crazy or insane, or there is maybe some
negative reactions,
side effects to these immortality pills.
OD'd?
Who knows? Let's find out.
Calm down. I'll do as you say. It's hard enough without you wailing and yelling. Mitty, you got some splaining to do.
That is pretty messed up.
Maybe that's why she's in the dark. You strain your eyes as you approach Mitty, but the room is too damn dark to make out any details of her appearance. I got it. That's why the lights are off.
Remember when, I remember saying, like, well, you can't really see how old she is or anything like that.
Annoyed by the constant lack of visibility, as well as the general lack of sense on the premises, you move towards the switch on the wall. Let's just turn these on,
that's why Mother doesn't like the light. It's not...
Oh my god!
Oh, I see.
Seconds later, an involuntary gasp escapes your mouth. Every bit of Mitty's skin is covered with liver spots and deep wrinkles. She looks grotesque, like a genetic experiment gone wrong, or Benjamin Button making a cameo in a horror movie.
Yeah.
A realization dawns on you. There was nothing wrong with her voice. It just wasn't a little girl's voice. It was the voice of an old and very sick woman.
Pardon me.
Mitty, what's wrong with you?
Nothing. I'm all right. Why?
Your body's all wrinkled. You look like an old lady.
That's because I'm ill at the moment, but it's nothing to worry about. I heard the doctor saying so. I heard it myself.
The woman says that you are her mother, not her daughter. Is that right?
Oh. Like serious mental illness? Just something like Alzheimer's,
mental regression.
Say, plus some type of bad reaction to the... Yeah,
some kind of memory regression.
Regression, like it said. Wasn't there something like that on the...
Yeah. Or memory manipulation, but that's similar.
Did it say manipulation? I don't think it said manipulation. We'll go
Maybe
check
it
when the
did, yeah.
conversation is over. But my mommy says so. That's a funny thing to say. What does it mean?
I have no idea. I need to leave you for a moment, okay?
That is pretty strange.
Okay, just seeing if I can interact with anything else.
Well, I mean, we haven't got where we're going yet.
Memory-related manipulations.
Manipulations, yeah.
Recollections are already affected.
What do you mean manipulations? So is it that she took the medicine? Well, we don't know. We just don't know. Hey, thinking about it, there is something else that we haven't paid any attention to whatsoever.
Go back to the main room?
No, not yet. First off, we had just assumed that it was something... Well, we just completely assumed the wrong thing, right?
Right.
So what we see here is like sort of an arts and craftsy thing.
Uh-huh.
But it's kind of all messed around. But who's the arts and craftsy person? And then...
I guess the grandma.
Yeah, Mitty.
Yeah.
And then the... on the table, like, why was the letter cut up? Yeah, go back to that letter. Go look at that.
Yeah, because this looks like it was specifically cut out.
Yeah, it was specifically cut out, specifically messed around with. The only person who we know that does that is our arts and crafts girl, old lady Mitty.
Yeah. And if she was really old, then this kind of makes a little more sense?
I
Maybe?
suppose. Well, I mean, again, what the thing said was you only get this if after consultation. Anyway, so yeah, it seems like Mom doesn't ever want to leave.
Yeah, I'm gonna check the
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
That just seems
so
important.
it seems like Mom doesn't want to leave her room, so her going out and savaging that and then pretending it wasn't there.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's entirely possible that both of them have some serious problems. Man, what a freaking twist!
Okay.
I hesitate to jump to conclusions, especially considering how unexpected this was. But again, this is the first one. We have no idea where it was going. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
We were just guided by assumptions, but who wouldn't have assumptions at this point? Like,
Yeah.
who wouldn't be assuming that this is the sort of thing it was going to be, right?
Right.
So, I mean, I think that our assumptions are extremely reasonable. It's not that we necessarily jump to conclusions. In any case...
Well, I like to jump to conclusions.
Yeah, and for some reason you're proud of that. You're stupid. So...
Oh.
God dang it! Because of that, now I completely lost my train of thought.
Billy is the victor!
Is this going to be, not voluntary... euthanasia, but prescribed euthanasia? I mean, that's not euthanasia.
Yeah.
That's homicide.
Right. Is she really your mother? What happened to her?
She is seriously ill. A late stage of Alzheimer's disease.
Alzheimer's? Isn't she a bit too stable and convincing for Alzheimer's?
That's because it wasn't just Alzheimer's. We tried a surgery. They can heal all kinds of terminal illnesses these days. Well, not Alzheimer's yet, not officially. Still in a testing stage, but it's open for public if you're willing to risk it. They said there's a 90% chance of success. That's good as certain, right? I don't know. I think you really have the right. It's not certain, no.
Yeah.
But I think you have I think you have the right to try experimental treatments if you are in a position where you can't recover any other way. And although it's a different discussion trying to say, here, have this euthanasia pill as opposed to, here, this may cure you.
Right?
Like, it's one thing that for whoever has power of attorney to do, this may cure you even though it may not work, to just say, die. Now, it's also different if a person writes in their own will that in case of serious mental illness and it looks like no reasonable chance of recovery can be made, then terminate. Like, that's, I mean, I think that's a bit different.
Right.
It's when a person doesn't make that type of a choice. No.
And I assume the surgery failed?
Yes. It is beyond repair. The doctors don't know what went wrong and can't do anything about it.
But why stop talking with her altogether? She may be delusional, but she's still your mother.
No, I simply can't talk with her. It's a mockery. She's a kid, and I hate kids.
Well, why would you hate kids?
Because they're a burden. They scream and shout and poop and pee and get sick all the time. They destroy your health and damage your psyche. They bleed their parents and then throw them away.
Isn't that a bit too much? You were a kid once too.
Boy, did you see that number 3?
Yes, it did. I wasn't even gonna acknowledge it.
Oh no, I'm different. I never abandoned my mother. The only reason why we raise kids is because we need to have someone replace us after death and keep the human race alive. But we're practically immortal now. We won't have to worry about kids much longer.
That's another one.
This is an evil point of view. Whether you have children or not is your own choice, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's not. But the idea of
not procreating, like no need for human
we're
future.
immortal now.
Yeah.
Children are terrible. I remember mentioning upon seeing the name Life Plus, talking about transhumanism. It's like after 15 years, isn't this a little early for attitudes like this? Oh, why need kids? They just replace us when we die, but we can surely live forever, right?
Yeah.
How? This is just disgusting. I'm sure I'll be ranting about it in a bit. That's enough for now.
What kind of crazy surgery was that to have such side effects?
Brain surgery, and they are not side effects, they are the results of failure. What can you do with a lab rat when the experiment goes wrong? Throw it away. Now look, I get that she may be traumatized, she may be damaged because of serious psychological trauma that has occurred in her life, because serious psychological trauma has occurred in her life. It's possible that we judge her too harshly. And this may be like an overreaction to that sort of thing, like an attempt to rationalize and justify it. But as it stands, without trying to extend that sort of empathy and just taking her at face value, which is not necessarily the correct thing, this is just wrong. This is sickening to listen to.
I agree.
It's anti-human.
And before the surgery, she wasn't a little girl before?
No, she was just fading. Not recognizing me, forgetting things, forgetting how to talk, drifting away.
Well, then it was even worse, right? I mean, at least she's all cheerful and innocent now.
No, it's more horrible than ever. She's delusional and she acts like a kid, and I hate kids. Okay, so...
I kind of want to follow up on that particular line of conversation, but it won't let me.
Okay, so she had the surgery, which wasn't apparent before.
Right.
And then this is the result of failure. Well, I mean, doesn't this mean that they need to see it out? Look at her. The mother, Mitty, didn't take any of the immortality stuff.
Right.
And so what?
It may have been some kind of youthening, like trying to youthen the brain, but it went too far.
Okay, maybe that is how it works. But regardless, are you saying that when your parents become a burden, when your family becomes a burden, you should just throw them away? Either snuff them out, like take responsibility, scare quotes, and snuff them out, or pack them off to a stupid nursing home if they don't want to go to a place like that, and then never talk to them again, and just throw them away when you're done with them? Is that how it works? Is that right? Is that fair?
No, not at all, because the only thing that's changed is that her mother is now a child. She still doesn't recognize her. She still had her memory fading. The only thing that's different is that her mother is a child and she hates kids. She's still having to take care of her.
And she just hates the stupid responsibility. If this is the person who is taking care of an elderly, mentally ill woman, then she does not need... She should be in a place like a nursing home, because it's better than this.
Yes.
It's better than this. She doesn't want to face things that are painful or inconvenient for her. She wants to have a life free of pain or bother. Well, don't we all, lady? Don't we all? But we don't get that. We have responsibilities. And my God, it's not like... I get that it's entirely likely maybe she wasn't like this before. Okay? Maybe she wasn't like this before.
And like the stress just broke her.
Yeah, maybe that's the case. But if that's the case, she either needs help, which means she needs to be speaking with psychiatrists or psychologists, like with mental health professionals, not be stuck here doing nothing but sitting around dreaming about how much she hates her mother. Okay? She either needs that help or she needs to have her mother taken from her. For her mother's sake. This is not fair to anybody involved. And if she can get better, if the woman here, if this woman can get better, then it would be great if she got that help. But if it's not trauma that made her be this way, and she's just a piece of crap, then she's just a piece of crap.
Yeah.
I said my stupid piece. There.
Well, strictly speaking, I probably should have picked this answer first. It's not. It just means 90% chance of success.
I know. The doctors talked a lot about that. But how can you worry about statistics when your mother fades away in front of you? What? That doesn't even make sense. What is this? I mean, yeah, it's worth doing. It's worth doing it.
Yeah.
But it's not always gonna work.
But you have to be prepared for that 10%.
It doesn't mean that you can just...
Can't just be like, 90% is fine. Nothing bad can happen. I found a strange pill in the living room, alongside a booklet about euthanasia. Do you know anything about it?
Euthanasia? I tried to get us a euthanasia pill, even to sneak one. But the doctors wouldn't let me. They have dozens of chemicals that can kill you peacefully, but they're very good at controlling who gets them. The agency said they can get me one, though. Their man will have a pill. I wonder how it got there.
I guess the man has already come. You tried to get one? You mean you want to euthanize your mother?
I said it before. That is murder. That is murder. I thought that might be the way. But I'll never be able to do it. How can you feed death to your own mother and then watch as she falls asleep forever? Impossible. I'd rather sit here paralyzed till I fall asleep forever. Yes. That would be much better.
Oh my god, she's going to take it herself instead of give it to her mother.
That's why you need help!
Yeah! I'll pick the first option! Sure! So what are you going to do now?
Nothing. I'll just sit. They said the man from the agency can help me. You're the man from the agency!
You're right!
And you're here to help! But there's nothing left to do. If he comes, I'll recommend him to sit down too.
I need to think. I'll be back. Because I'm sure as hell not picking that first option.
Ending somebody's life in a situation like this is called murder!
Plain and simple.
I don't support euthanasia. I don't support prescribed euthanasia. I do think that in the case of a terminal illness, it's fine. I think it is a valid choice if you can make it.
Right?
And I'm just so hesitant. To allow it. The thing is who's going to perform things like that?
Well, I mean,
where do you get the chemicals? Somebody is going to... Either general practitioners are going to be forced to administer it, which they may not wish to and would be compelled to, perhaps.
Yeah.
That's a problem. That's compelling a doctor to murder.
Yeah.
What about doing no harm? Or there's going to be a person who chooses to specialize in euthanasia.
And how can you ever trust any diagnosis from him? He's going to want you to choose the euthanasia option, so he gets paid.
And anybody who refers somebody to a euthanasiast, of course you know what they're going to say. That's their specialty. Like what? Are they going to get, depending on the state of healthcare, are they going to get $5,000 from the insurance company? Are they going to get $5,000 in fees from the state to cover the profit of going into a business? Because, hey, I mean, you got to have a job to make a living. Doctors do get paid pretty well. That's why, because you have to go through over a decade of education and training in order to obtain these skills. If there's no incentive for people to do it, i.e. high social status and high payment, you're not you're not going to get enough people who are going to subject themselves to the difficulty and rigors of an extremely elite job that not everyone is qualified to do.
Yeah.
You have to entice people, or the people who are extremely qualified and able to do it will choose something else. Not everybody, but
Right.
you can't assume that nobody does things entirely without any sort of incentive, social or financial whatsoever.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm just saying, the idea that somebody who performs euthanasia is not going to get paid for euthanasia is
Stupid.
Insane.
Yeah.
So you either have somebody who specializes in it, or you have somebody who is going to be, or you are compelling people to do it.
Yeah.
I suppose it's possible that you could just have doctors who voluntarily would agree to do it, but at that point that makes, and there's not like a professional, but there's just people who volunteer, like, I'll do it. Well, that means that they're the professional.
Right.
Okay,
right.
as opposed to others. So it's like, as long as there is a financial incentive to recommend someone's death,
Yeah.
then they are going to want to recommend the death of others, because that is their job and that is how they get paid.
This is what we call a problem.
And if you think that you can just try and write some long and complicated bureaucratic regulation to police the minds of people who do these things, then I don't think that's how laws work.
Right.
Or how regulations work. I am extremely sympathetic to the idea of allowing people to end their own life under certain conditions, like such as terminal illness, like with no chance of recovery or no reasonable chance of recovery, like the booklet says.
Right.
But I just,
not in this situation.
you can't prescribe it to others, and one of the main reasons that I think about things like this is, what about the time if euthanasia is allowed, even if it starts off like so simply, when's gonna come the time when you prescribe it to children? The services are just, children have terminal illnesses too.
Should we just give up on them?
Why could you can't do that? I mean, even in my own case, if I ever am in a situation, I've told members of my family this, if I end up in a situation where I'm brain dead, that means I am dead.
Yeah.
So pulling the plug is fine with me. It's not like I'm saying never, but the idea of introducing it as a legitimate profession, I just think where it goes, it's just not right. The trade-offs are so... Anyway, that's how I feel about it.
Okay, thank God. I was worried I'd only be able to do that.
Yeah, no. We'll stop playing the game right away if we don't have an option.
Right? You approach Mitty again, but the initial shock wore off by now, and you notice that she may not be so unnaturally grotesque after all. She's just a very short person, burdened by age and illness. She could probably pass for a stereotypical old granny if it wasn't for her cheerful, girly behavior.
Hello again. Hey, why don't you leave real fast so we can save and end the episode?
I could save right here.
What say you do? Because, I don't know, that kind of took a lot out of me.